UFC 313 is this weekend, baby. It's Pereira fight week. Now, we may make a whole video later this week about Dana hinting at a possible Jones versus Pereira fight before I get all fucking angry about that again, before it actually gets announced. But let's do picks and predictions. It's UFC 313. Let's do picks and predictions. I'm 51-32, 6-4 performance on the last card. Not my best. Not my worst, but honestly, I think it should have been 8-2 because I think that William Gomi won and I think Esteban Ribovics won. I think a lot of people agree with that. But again, Hyder Emil definitely could have won that fight as well. I didn't see Nasrat winning that fight. I really didn't. But anyway, let's go through picks and predictions of this UFC 313 card, which is pretty damn good, and it's going to start with Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Now, you know how I feel about Ozzy Diaz. He's the what do I call him? The middleweight or the light heavyweight Jose Medina. It's one of those Mexican guys that has like a decent chin, but is just out of shape, like a boxing tough out of shape guy. But Jordan Santos fought Will Curry and beat him. Will Curry's decent. Will Curry was a decent. I remember this Contender Series fight being decent, man. 30-27 him on the feet. Now, Will Curry shot 1,000,000 takedowns. Didn't look his best. But Jordan Santos was able to defend those takedowns, get one of his own, reverse position, have good top control, able to land good strikes. He was a plus 350 underdog to Will Curry. Now he's a minus 190 favorite to Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz is so much bigger than him, though, and Ozzy Diaz is now cutting weight to middleweight. I expect him to be in better shape than he was when he fought Ming Yang Zhang. He did get knocked out brutally by Ming Yang Zhang last time. Brutally by Ming Yang Zhang. Then he goes on the regional seal and gets 2 KOs, gets knocked out by Pfeiffer. So he loses to these fucking crazy powerful guys. I don't think Jordan Santos is that crazy powerful guy. He's shorter. He's got lesser reach. Ozzy Diaz is going to be making the weight cut. I expect him to look, and again, I know cutting weight after a brutal KO is not the best thing in the world to do. But I think Ozzy Diaz is going to look better in this. I think he's going to be in better shape. I think he's going to take shots better. I expect his recovery to be better here at middleweight, which I know is weird to say at a lower weight, but I'm going to go with Ozzy Diaz. There was a lot of excess fat that he had at light heavyweight, and it didn't make him look as good. I'm going to go with Ozzy Diaz to win this fight by decision here. I think he's going to be able to outstrike and outpoint Jordan Santos. I think his reach is going to be a big problem. I think he's going to be able to defend some takedowns here, land some good low kicks. I know I always go against the guys that look like Ozzy Diaz, like chubbier Mexican guy. Sorry, there's just something on my screen that's bothering me. Chubbier, like tough, gritty, like Mexican guys, but didn't have too much skill, like the Jose Medinas, if you get what I'm saying there. But I actually think that Ozzy Diaz is going to get this one done. I think he's going to be tough enough to kind of grit things out a little bit here against Jordan Santos. And I think he's going to be able to land a lot of combinations and use his straight punches to keep Jordan Santos at bay, defend takedowns. I'm going to go with Ozzy Diaz winning a 29-28 split decision here, outpointing Jordan Santos. Next up, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Now, John Castaneda was supposed to fight last weekend. Chris Gutierrez was supposed to fight on the Australia card, maybe? Supposed to fight on the Australia card, I think, or maybe the Saudi Arabia card. Supposed to fight a little bit earlier. Ends up knowing that fight's not happening, gets rebooked to 313, will find an opponent. They end up finding John Castaneda, who they found literally was supposed to fight last week, but his fight fell through with Douglas Silva de Andrade. So John Castaneda, I think, was close to making weight and then got his fight called off. Now he's going to have to make weight again against Chris Gutierrez, and I'm going to be real. John Castaneda, like, he's a decent point fighter here, but he's susceptible to low kicks, and Chris Gutierrez does better at getting low kicks than a lot of people in the division. I think Chris Gutierrez is going to win a decision here. I think he's going to be able to out-low kick John Castaneda to a 29-28 decision. I think Castaneda's all right. I think he's going to have some success with his hands. I don't think Chris Gutierrez's hands are as good. I think Castaneda's are better. And I think Castaneda throws a couple of good body kicks, but I think he's when I look back at his fights, like, he can be leg kicked a lot. Like, he can get leg kicked a lot, and I think Chris Gutierrez is going to be able to beat up the legs, stay out of the way of the right hands, land some combinations of his own, maybe get a couple step-in knees that look good, and win this fight in the scorecards. I'm going to go Chris Gutierrez to win here, a 29-28 decision, outpointing John Castaneda. I think John Castaneda is going to have a tough fight week just trying to make weight. Like, it's just, like, kind of demoralizing here. Like, he's supposed to be fighting a heavy, power-punching, slower Douglas Silva de Andrade, who's got some cool capoeira kicks, yeah, but he's a big, heavy power puncher who's a lot older. Now he's going to be fighting a younger, faster Chris Gutierrez, who uses his low kicks a lot better than Douglas Silva de Andrade does. He's throwing a lot more volume, I think, so I'm going to go Chris Gutierrez to win in a 29-28 decision here. And Chris Gutierrez is taller, so I think the kicks are going to be very prevalent. The reach is on the side of John Castaneda for sure, but Chris Gutierrez is taller. I think he's going to be able to use his height and his kicks to his advantage. Moving on. Francis Marshall versus Myron Santos. I'm picking Myron Santos to win I think he... what am I gonna... I'm picking Santos to win. But you know what? We're changing this up. Ozzy Diaz is getting a round 2 KO. Myron Santos is gonna win a decision here. 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. That's how you're gonna see the scorecards look. I think that Francis Marshall is gonna have some good moments where he's able to grapple against the cage, and I think that's something that Myron Santos may struggle a little bit with. I think he's going to have his back against the cage a couple of times in this fight because Francis Marshall is very good. He's got a long reach. He's taller than Myron Santos, according to ESPN, even though Myron Santos looks a lot taller when he gets in the octagon than just 5'7". Myron Santos, though, has devastating low kicks. And I think those low kicks are going to look real. Dude, they're going back-to-back Gutierrez and Myron Santos. Those are two of the better low kickers in the game at respectively featherweight and featherweight. The Gutierrez fight's at featherweight, not bantamweight. So I actually think Castaneda has a better chance than I thought originally. I'm still going to go with Gutierrez. Myron Santos. I think his low kicks are really good. He's a fucking monster. He's got that it factor. Like, when you see him fight, he's got the it factor. He's very composed, dangerous in the cage. Nothing really gets to him. And I think Francis Marshall's going to have trouble on the feet against Myron Santos, but I think when it comes to the grappling, I do think he's going to be able to implement a little bit of a grappling prowess, maybe win a round based off of it, holding Myron Santos against the cage, digging knees to the thigh, elbow off the break, shooting back in. But I do think Myron Santos is going to end up winning this fight based off of damage, and he's the prospect trying to push. Plus 250, I think, is a little bit... This isn't as bad of a line. Actually, this really isn't as bad of a line. I would have liked to see like a minus 250 Myron Santos plus 190, 200 on Francis Marshall. But you know what? Like, plus 250 is not a bad line to take on Francis Marshall. He is a tricky opponent, but I think Myron Santos is going to be able to do the damage to get the win. I think he's got some power in his hands, and those low kicks are just so fucking dangerous. And I think Francis Marshall is going to have too many moments where it's against the cage, and he's not able to outpoint by holding up against the cage. I think Santos is going to do enough in the striking to win the point fight, where Francis Marshall is going to have, I reckon we see 7-8 minutes of control time against the cage from Francis Marshall here, with a little bit of like shovel hooks up top and a couple like knees to the thigh, knees to the body. But Myron Santos is going to have enough success where at times he's going to be able to break free, land good shots on the feet, and be able to outstrike Francis Marshall to a 29-28 decision on 2 judges' scorecards. 1 judge is going to give him 30-27. Moving on, Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Fucking crazy odds, dude. These odds are legitimately insane. It's just because Morono's not dangerous, man. Like, he's really not dangerous. And Carlos Leal fucking is on the juice. On the juice. He beat fucking Rinat Fakhretdinov debatably 30-27. He arguably won 30-27 against Rinat Fakhretdinov and got robbed of a 30-27 scorecard. Crazy, but you know how it is out there in Abu Dhabi. That's how it goes. But Alex Morono just like he's a good point fighter. Like he uses good low kicks. His grappling's pretty good. He does a good job of using his jab and moving his head. But I think Carlos Leal is just going to have more pop in every shot here. I think he's going to be able to stuff every takedown Morono throws at him. He's very physically strong, like strong hips, good base, where Morono's going to have a tough time getting him to the ground. And if this stays on the feet, I do think Morono can have moments where he's winning the exchanges and the striking, but then Carlos Leal lands a big power shot that either sets him down or like wobbles him a little bit. And then Carlos Leal's like kind of losing a little bit of a point battle, but he's stalking down Alex Morono, lands the big power shots. And I actually think Carlos Leal might be able to find a finish here. I'm going to say round 2 TKO, Carlos Leal over Alex Morono in this one. I think he knocks him down with a big straight right hand and follows up with some good ground and pound. So I'm going Carlos Leal TKO. Round 2. Moving on. Bruno Ferreira versus Arman Petrosyan. I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira, another underdog pick here. So that's 2 on the card now, guys. Keep count. I almost went with 3 with Francis Marshall, but 2 on the card so far. Bruno Ferreira, I think he gets a knockout of Arman Petrosyan in round 1. I think Petrosyan is solid at point fighting. Like, he's a decent point fighter, but he leaves his head so on the line. Like, his head movement is not impressive to me. Looks like me in sparring, dude. Like, where my head's just there, and I'm trying to fucking throw big bombs, land low kicks, throw bombs. Not bombs, because it's sparring, but, like, I'm trying to, like, play the counter game a little bit, like, eat one to give one. I don't think you can do that with Bruno Ferreira. Like, if I'm doing that with fucking Jefferson's going to put me to sleep cold. But, like, you can't do that with Bruno Ferreira, dude. It's just one of those things where Bruno Ferreira is going to be able to find the shot and land on him. Now, Bruno Ferreira has a big cardio issue. I will say that. Ferreira's got a cardio issue, but I don't think it's going to see round 3. Even if it sees round 2, I think the dangerous finishing potential from Bruno Ferreira is there. He almost knocked out Abus Magomedov multiple times, but he kind of fumbled the bag a little bit. Arman Petrosyan was winning the point fight against Sharon Magomedov, but then he got knocked out. And that's just kind of like the story is like he can kind of be winning the point fight. I think Arman Petrosyan is going to be winning this one on the feet and then just get slumped by a left hand from Bruno Ferreira. Out cold, big KO. And I think Bruno Ferreira is getting better each time I see him in the octagon. His power's nothing to be trifled with, man. I really think he's going to land a big left hand, get a KO in round 1. I'm going KO round 1 Bruno Ferreira. I just think Arman Petrosyan's there to be hit. Bruno Ferreira has the nukes in his hands. And Arman throws too many kicks that can be countered, and I think that's where Bruno Ferreira is going to get him. Is Arman's going to throw a lead leg kick, and Bruno Ferreira is going to just have that classic, like he did against Gregory Rodriguez, where he's going to slip, left hand, right down the pipe, sit down Arman Petrosyan, and get a knockout win. So Bruno Ferreira, underdog pick, KO round 1. Moving on, Joshua Van versus Ray Soroya. Now, Ray Soroya is a good grappler. He's young. And Joshua Van is also very young, but he has a ton of experience in the octagon. How many, like, he's fought, the activity from Joshua Van has been crazy good recently. When you look at this, he fought, what was it? He comes into the UFC, goes to a split with Zalga Shumagulov in June of 2023. Then he takes, 3-4 months off? It comes like 4.5 months off, fights Kevin Borjas, wins a dominant decision against Kevin Borjas at 295. Then he fights Felipe Bunez literally 3 months later. Sorry, 2 months later. Yeah, 2 months later he fights Felipe Bunez, knocks him out in round 2. Then he fights Charles Johnson 5 months later. Gets knocked out in round 3, but he was turning the tides against Charles Johnson. He lost round 1, won round 2, and then he was going out there to try and start winning round 3, and Charles Johnson knocks him out. Then he dominates Edgar Chairez in a fight that was an absolute scrap. Like it was. But he wins round... you know what? He lost round 1, I think. He gets in a good fight with Edgar Chairez, but Edgar Chairez is very tricky in terms of his striking prowess and his kicks, but he had Edgar Chairez hurt a ton with the shots of the body. Then he beat up on Cody Durden bad, so he showed a ton of evolution in his game. And now he's back fighting again. The activity of Joshua Van is nuts. And Ray Soroya is good. But he's not the style of opponent to beat Joshua Van. The style of opponent to beat Joshua Van is an Edgar Chairez, is a Charles Johnson. Taller, rangy strikers. that have good cardio, can keep things at range, but don't break as the fights go on. I think Ray Soroya doesn't have great striking. I don't think his striking's too good, and I think that I just repeated myself like a fucking mongoloid, but I don't think his striking's good, again. And I think Joshua Van's got some of the best striking at flyweight, especially the boxing, the way he mixes up head and body. He'll see that you're covering up the head, and he'll go, fine, body, body, body. Make you go, oh man, I gotta defend the body, then he'll just start landing shots up top. You'll try and grapple with him, and his takedown defense is actually very good. When he gets to the ground, there might be a little bit of a jiu-jitsu problem that could get exposed in this fight, but I don't see this fight getting to the ground. I don't think Ray Soroya is going to be able to transition to the back. I think this is going to be one of those fights where Joshua Van's able to just defend the takedowns, march forward. Soroya might have some good moments in round one with some kicks and stuff, but Joshua Van wins the first round. Then round two, you start to see Soroya continue to fail takedowns, mentally break, and that's when Joshua Van's able to move forward. Pa, 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 combination. Slip, ka, pa, ka, pa, pa, pa. Just land great combinations. I think you're going to see a combination finish against the cage here, maybe with a body shot against Ray Soroya in round two. Round two KO, Joshua Van, combination punches. And moving on. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kunyev. I don't get why Rizvan's in the fucking UFC, dude. He's a known PED cheat for aggressive PEDs. Dude, he had 4 substances. They aren't trace substances. They're banned substances. They're not like trace amounts. They're not, something might have gotten spiked and that's how it got in there. Like, it's not like that. He actively took 4 banned substances and he beat Hanan Fahea. It wasn't a good fight. It was like a sloppy, ugly, heavyweight fight. And I think Curtis Blades is too technical. I think he's going to be able to throw the jabs, sit the 2 down the middle, get out of the way of the big looping punches. I don't see Rizvan Kunyev taking him down. Jailton Almeida was able to take Curtis Blades down, but Jailton Almeida uses trips and he gets to the back and uses the body lock. Where Rizvan Kunyev, everything I see, he's just blast double, single leg, and that's really all he's got for the takedowns. I think Curtis Blades is very, very good at defending those, and I think he's going to be much better on the feet here. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw that Kunyev goes for a takedown, Blades stuffs and sprawls, gets on top of the ground and pound elbows. I think as this fight goes on, you're going to see Rizvan Kunyev start to break, but I do think Blades is going to... Do I think he gets a finish here? I feel like all the Blades fights go to a finish. They really do. Got KO'd by Aspinall in round 1. It's Aspinall. KO'd Jailton Almeida in round 2. Got KO'd by Pavlovich in round 1. Knee blown out against Aspinall. Like, Aspinall got his knee blown out. KO'd Dawkins. All of his fights end in finishes, dude. And he's one of those guys that actually put a beating on Alexander Volkov in the grappling. I think Kunyev gets destroyed by Volkov. It's a different style, I get it. Volkov's going to box, use the teep kicks. But I think Curtis Blades, the way his career goes, this one's due for a win, and he's going to get a knockout in round 2. I'm going round 2 KO Curtis Blades. A lot of finishes I'm picking on this card. How many did I pick? Ozzy Diaz finish. You know what? We're going back. It's Ozzy Diaz decision, guys. I'm sorry. Decision, finish. That's honestly how I can see this going. Finish from Curtis Blades here, round 1 TKO. Round 2 KO. The boxing's going to be there. The takedown defense is going to be there. And Kunyev may not be taking roids. He might be. We'll see in the fight. But if he's not taking roids, I'm willing to bet he breaks. I'm going Curtis Blades. That reach is going to be too much. KO round 2. And the finishes continue. Bobby Green, Marcio Ruffy. Now, the line is outright disrespectful to Bobby Green because Marcio Ruffy is beatable. I think we're going to see a round 1 KO, though. I really do. I think that Bobby Green is solid, right? He's solid. He beat up on Jim Miller. That was a great performance, but he did get wobbled in round 1 and lost round 1. Recently, he got armbar triangled by Paddy Pimblett. But Marcio Ruffy is... I'm going the McGregor career path, man. McGregor got a round 1 KO to start his career. Then he went to a shitty decision with Max Holloway that he clearly won, but it was a shitty decision. And Marcio Ruffy's decision wasn't shitty. He did lose a round. Like, it wasn't his best performance. Then Conor McGregor got a KO in round one again. I think Marcio Ruffi is going to get another KO in round one here. I think he's going to follow the McGregor path. You have the Brazilian Conor McGregor here, and it's going to happen. He's got more reach than Bobby Green. He has tremendous slips and counter striking. Slick kicks. He has a slick takedown in his arsenal where he can do like the scissor kick takedown. And Bobby Green's good. I think he's going to be able to have some moments where he lands on Marcio Ruffi. But I think Marcio Ruffi's going to be able to figure out the combinations that Bobby Green's going to throw and land one of those slip left hand, right hands, and it's going to knock Bobby out cold. Bobby, he's good at moving his head too. But his hands are so low. And when you're fighting against Marcio Ruffi, your hands cannot be low because he's going to find your chin. That's from what we've learned so far in seeing him. He will find your chin. And the reason he didn't knock out James Lontop is because James Lontop has that next level chin. Next level. He's one of those guys that's like, he's like the Aussie, he's like the fucking Jose Medina, Ozzy Diaz. He's a tough, gritty guy that's just going to take your damage, walk forward, keep pushing the pace. And it got to Marcio Ruffi in the third round. I just think Bobby Green is not going to be able to take the damage that anyone else, like that James Lontop was taking. I think that Marcio Ruffi is going to get his KO in round one and follow the McGregor trail. I think it's going to be based off of a slip. He's going to land a 1-2 after that, or not a 1-2. He's going to land a good two-punch combination after that and put Bobby Green out. I'm going Marcio Ruffi KO, even though the line is totally disrespectful. It's going to happen in round one. Bobby Green just keeps his hands too low, man. That's really what it's coming down to. Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. I'm going to go with Yasmin Lucindo. I think she's just better than Amanda Lemos. I think she has more tools in the bag. I think her grappling's better. I think Amanda Lemos does have some pop, but I think Yasmin Lucindo's got a chin. She's fought good competition, and she has consistently gotten better at every fight. She's going to be the one to bring new tricks to the tool shed here. I don't even know if that makes sense, dude, but she's going to the tool shed. She's bringing out the new tools. You know what I mean? She's going to bring more tools to this fight. Think she's going to be able to grapple in this fight. Think she's going to be able to also hang with Amanda Lemos on the feet. I don't think Amanda Lemos throws enough. And I also think her grappling can be exposed in this fight. Yeah, she's got pop. But she's kind of... She's on a little bit of a skid here. There's some momentum shift here. Let me see her last fights. It was... She lost to Verna Jandrodova by sub. I don't think that Lucindo has Verna's game. But she lost to Verna by sub. She beat Mackenzie Dern, but there were some moments in that fight where she was losing. And she lost to Wei Lee. Before that, she knocked out Marina Rodriguez, dicey KO. She subbed Michelle Waterson, yeah, but then you look at this and it's Yasmin Lucindo has consistently gotten better, and she's also fought pretty good comp. She won a split against Marina Rodriguez. It was a close fight, but I guess Lucindo won. She won a unit. She dominated Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She subbed Poliana Viana. Don't know who this Walker girl is, but she beat her. She lost to Uregui, but she hung in there with Uregui, and she was 21 years old when that fight happened, guys. Lucindo's solid, and I think she's going to keep getting better, and I think this is going to be a big fight for her, and I think she's fully prepared. She's going to come out there and win this fight. I'm going Yasmin Lucindo to win a decision here, 29-28 over Amanda Lemos. Now we move on. Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes. I'm thinking Jalen Turner, I think his striking is better than Ignacio. Sorry, it has proven more against higher quality opponents, yeah, but he never finishes the fight, and that's the thing. I'm going to go Bahamondes here to win a decision. I can see Jalen Turner just, again, giving up in rounds 2 and 3. Think Jalen Turner has a great round 1. Lands some dangerous left hands, good kicks. But I think if anyone's going to engage in the grappling and try and win this fight in other ways, it's going to be Ignacio Bahamondes. Yes, Jalen Turner has some dude. Like, he's like a ninja choke. I think Ignacio's getting this one done. I think he's going to get it done by decision. I think he's going to have moments where like things get dicey in the striking, but he's going to stay composed, pull himself together, out-grapple Jalen Turner a little bit. And I also think he's going to be able to land some good strikes in rounds 2 and 3 when we start to see Jalen Turner break. Because Jalen Turner will break. And that's where I think we see Bahamondes start to turn it up. Rounds 2 and 3, I think he wins a 29-28 decision. He's training with Bilal. Bilal is going into a title fight camp, so you know they're working hard in the gym. They're at similar weight, so they are grappling with each other. They are striking with each other. He's a massive training partner for Bilal. Like, he trains with him a lot. And he's getting better and better and better. I think we see Ignacio Bahamondes win a 29-28 decision here, get himself in the rankings, and Jalen Turner moves himself up to welterweight to see if he can have a new career there. We're going Ignacio Bahamondes, 29-28 decision. Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. This is the end, boys. I think this is the end of Justin Gaethje. You know how much I love Gaethje. Gay for Gaethje, dude. But fucking, I think he's getting slumped. I was talking to a couple of people, like Octagon Oracle, I was talking to him, watch his page, great stuff. I was talking to a couple of people in our chat and saying, listen, I think Fiziev gets it done, but I don't think he's slumping Gaethje. He's had enough time to rest. The chin's probably healed. But does the chin ever really heal from a knockout like that where you get flatlined after taking a ton of damage? Against a guy that you have already fought, who knows how you fight, who's so fast. Fiziev's so fast. And it's not like Fiziev is throwing a hard 1-2. You know, when you're training for Dan Hooker, you're training for the 1-2. Low kick, jab, jab, 2, down the middle, body shot. The occasional, like, a cheeky left hook. Like, nothing too crazy, no big swing, but like a short left hook. Rafael Fiziev is winging his hands. He's winging hooks. Not really throwing too much straight. You're getting in the pocket and you're going to eat 4 or 5 punches. Gaethje got caught a lot in their first fight. A lot. Fiziev was doing a great job of landing body kicks. I think Gaethje's getting knocked out by a head kick in this fight, dude. And I think it's coming early. I think Fiziev's going to stun him, hurt him a little bit with the right hands. Gaethje's going to recover, start to land low kicks. Then you're going to see Fiziev start to tune up kicks to the body. And then Gaethje's going to go to defend a kick to the body. It's going to come a little bit higher, catch him in the head, and he's going to get knocked out. I think it's going to be a round. I think we see a round 1 KO from Gaethje, and I'm scared he's going to retire after. That's my fear. I think Rafael Fiziev is going to sleep Justin Gaethje, and I think he's going to retire. Or fight Poirier for like a retirement fight, but fuck. It's sad, man. Like, I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan, but I think when he was fighting Fiziev, listen, I think Gaethje won that fight. He could have lost, though. Like, Fiziev could have gotten round 2, and a lot of people think he got round 2. I give the nod to Gaethje barely, but I give the nod to Gaethje in the same way that I give the nod to Strickland in round 2 of the Du Plessis 1 fight. I think Fiziev's going to slump him. It's sad to say, but I do. I think Fiziev's so fast with the hands, and I think those kicks, Gaethje can't help but dip to cover the body, and it leaves his head wide open every time. He did it against Poirier, too. He does it against... It's why he got his nose fucking shattered by Max Holloway, because he dips to stop the spinning body kick, but he dips and it catches his face. He does that in every fight. It's just... I think he's getting slumped by Fiziev, man, and I'm sad to say because I fucking love Justin Gaethje. And I think he's going to bring the war. I think he's going to have moments where he tags Fiziev. But I think Fiziev's been hard training, waiting for this. He trains at Tiger Muay Thai. They're always training hard. He's been waiting for this fight. He's been waiting for this opportunity. He was so ready to take it. It makes me feel like he's ready. He's coming into this fight the best Rafael Fiziev that we've seen. This is where we go for the Fiziev title run, man. He may not win the title, but he's going to go on a title run here. And he was going to beat Gamrot too before he got hurt. That's what sucks. I think Fiziev versus Gaethje is going to be the end of Gaethje, man. I'm going round 1 KO, Rafael Fiziev. A kick that's supposed to go to the body, but it ends up catching Justin in the chin and it knocks him out. Rafael Fiziev's going to win this. His speed's going to be too much for Gaethje. Pereira versus Ankalaev. It's Alex Pereira, and it's a round 2 KO. Holy fucking KOs on this card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 KOs on this card. No submit. We're not taking submissions. Okay? We're going KOs. Now, the reason I say this, Magomed takes a little bit of time to get in the fight. He kind of lets people win round 1. And I think if you're letting Pereira win round 1 against you, he's only going to fucking snowball downhill at you. He's going to land those low kicks. And people are going to say, dude, Southpaw's a lot harder to land them, like Blachowicz landed them. Yes, Ank's got a little bit better at checking them, but again, not really. It's like, Rakic landed a ton of low kicks against Ank. It was one fight ago. Pereira throws low kicks way better. He throws them from both sides, and they're more damaging than anyone else's low kicks. So I think that's going to be trouble for Ankalaev. And I think when he starts landing those early, Ankalaev's going to have the first 2 minutes where he's going to go, yeah, I'm standing and striking with you. I'm going to stand and strike with you. Low kicks are going to start to hurt him. He's going to start shooting those takedowns. Once the legs are gone, it's going to be harder to get those takedowns. Naturally, it is. Now, he may get a couple. He may get one, but I think Pereira's takedown defense, I think Pereira's been training the takedown defense since the fucking first Yuri fight. I do. He fought Yuri the first time, got taken down a bunch, and goes, fuck, I need to keep training this. All right, my next fight's against Jamal Hill. He's not fucking grappling. You know, we'll work on the takedown defense, but I don't need to worry about it too much. And then he works on the takedown defense against Yuri again, a guy who, again, can take him down but would prefer to strike, and he just schooled Yuri in that fight. Then I think he's fighting, and he goes, Ankalaev is down the road. Let's take another fight, so that way I can have more time to prepare for the wrestling of Ankalaev. So he fights Roundtree, and he looks lackluster in those first 2 rounds. I think, yes, that says something about Roundtree being gritty and tough. To me, dude, Pereira was sick. People forget that Pereira was sick. And he also probably was drilling more wrestling defense than he was striking in that fight, just preparing for the Ank fight. He probably overlooked Khalil a little bit. So he was preparing a lot of wrestling. So I think he's going to be prepared for the wrestling in this fight. And can you tell me the last time Magomed Ankalaev finished someone on the ground? Like, he's not a fight finisher. Decision against Rakic. He KO'd Walker, but like so did a gust of wind. Goes to a no contest with Walker. Should have been a DQ. A draw with Blachowicz that he arguably won, but he goes all the 5 rounds. KO'd Anthony Smith, but it's Anthony fucking Smith. Decision with Santos. Decision with Ozdemir. Decision with Krylov. KO'd Kudalaba twice. Really once, but twice. Then Dalcha Luchambula, who's fighting at middleweight now. I don't think that if it gets to the ground that Ankalaev has the finishing. He's not the guy that postures up and lands crazy good ground and pound. He's not the guy that has submissions to his arsenal. I think Pereira's going to slump him. I think he's going to do a lot of this walk forward stuff, and he loves to put the pressure on. Walk forward, throw a counter. He's going to, even if this fight goes past the first 2 rounds, he's going to lose rounds to Pereira based off of activity. I don't think Ank has crazy activity in these fights. He sits there and he's a very patient counter striker. And I think Pereira's going to be able to jab, body jab. Jab, he wants to counter the jab, okay. Jab, pull back, 2. Land the left hook. Ooh, that one hurt him. Low kick. Low kick again, body jab, low kick. Right hand, hook, low kick. Like, he's going to mix things up really well on the feet, and I think it's going to overstimulate the brain of Magomed Ankalaev where he's not able to read it all. And I think Pereira's going to end up catching him with a left hook in round 2 that sits him down. And I think Magomed's going to try and stand back up. He's going to kick the legs. Ooh, that one hurt the legs. He's buckled. He's going to fake the hook, kick the leg again. Oh my God, he can't even stand. ANK stands up, fakes the low kick, lands the left hook, knocks him out. I think we're getting a Pereira KO here in round 2. I just don't think, if you're picking Magomed Ankalaev, you're picking him to out-grapple and wrestle Alex Pereira the whole time. You are. Because if they stand in the striking, Ank's not a bad striker, but he doesn't do enough to win rounds. And I don't think he's going to catch Pereira with a strike. I don't think he's going to be able to flatline KO him with that left high kick. He loves to throw that backhand and the left-hand high kick. Doesn't really use his jab to set anything up. He throws the big 2 and the big high kick. Very, very readable for a kickboxer like Alex Pereira. I think Pereira's going to take him to school in this one. I think he's getting a round 2 KO, and we're going to be able to be happy. Like, Gaethje's going to get knocked out, but then Pereira's going to make us happy. He's going to call out John Jones. I'm going to be fucking mad. What I'd like to see Pereira do is say, I'm calling someone out. I want to go up and win my third heavyweight, my third title in the third weight class, heavyweight division. Tom Aspinall, International Fight Week. Let's get it done. That would be fucking awesome. That would be fucking awesome. If he says, John Jones doesn't look like he wants to fight. I want to fight the real heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall. That would be fucking awesome. But we know that's not going to happen. Fucking A, dude. Would make me so mad. When he calls out Jones, I'm going to be pissed. And it's going to start making me hate Pereira. I swear to God. But it is what it is. We'll do another video on that if that fight ever gets announced. But appreciate you watching the video. Those are the picks and predictions. Let's fucking cook. UFC 313's a damn good card. So can't wait to watch it. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.